Well, hello there, and welcome to Battle Zone. Today on our War Stories episode, we're going to be taking you back to the Korean War in the Battle of Imjin River. Philip Kenneth Edward Curtis was born on the 7th of July 1926 in Plymouth, Devon. He was the son of Edward Curtis and his wife Ethel (née Richards). On the outbreak of World War II, Curtis was a teenager, and during the Blitz on Plymouth he volunteered as a messenger for the RAP wardens. Desperately keen to enlist before the end of the war, he tried the RAF but was rejected due to age. In 1944, having turned 18, he was accepted into the army, but not posted overseas to an operational theatre. In May 1946, he was given a regular Army Emergency Commission in the Duke of Cornwall's Light Infantry, or DCLI, although he never actually served with any battalion of that regiment. After service, attached to the RASC, or Royal Army Service Corps, at HQ Middle East, he was demobbed in 1948 and placed on the reserve of officers with an honorary rank of captain. While still a soldier, he married a local Devonport girl, Joan Hayes, and they had a daughter, Philippa Susan. After leaving the army, he secured a job with Roneo, a duplicator firm, but found life dull after the excitement of the previous 4 years. Then, just after he had settled into family life, tragedy struck. His young wife died suddenly in 1949, leaving him with a younger child to bring up. Not long after this, the Korean War broke out, and they needed officers and soldiers to fill the depleted ranks of the infantry. When Curtis got his recall papers, he was in quandary. As a young widower with responsibility for a young daughter, there is no doubt he could have got an exemption. When his wife's mother, Mrs. Beatrice Haynes, undertook the role of Susan's guardianship, he was persuaded to take up the recall papers. He rejoined the army and made this desire to go to Korea known, and sailed on the 17th of October 1950. On arrival in Japan, there were delays and he pestered the Americans to get him into Korea. The UN counteroffensive was underway and there was a chance that it would be all over before he got involved. He eventually joined A Company, the Gloucestershire Regiment, on the 3rd of March 1951. One platoon were very impressed with their new officer. During the first phase of the Battle of Imjin River, on the night of the 22nd to 23rd of April 1951, A Company, 1 Gloucesters, was heavily attacked by a large enemy force. By dawn on the 23rd of April, the enemy had secured a footing on Castle Hill. This was very close proximity to No. 2 Platoon's position. The company commander ordered No. 1 Platoon, under the command of Lieutenant Curtis, to carry out a counterattack with a view to dislodging the enemy from the position. Under the covering fire of medium machine guns, the counterattack, gallantly led by Lieutenant Curtis, gained initial success, but was eventually held up by fire and grenades. Enemy from just below the crest of the hill were rushing to reinforce the position, and fierce firefight developed, grenades also being freely used by both sides in this close quarter engagement. Lieutenant Curtis ordered some of his men to give him some covering fire, whilst he himself rushed the main position of resistance. In this charge, Lieutenant Curtis was severely wounded by a grenade. Several of his men crawled out and pulled him out under the cover, but recovering himself, Lieutenant Curtis insisted on making a second attempt. Breaking free from the men who wished to restrain him, he made another desperate charge, hurling grenades as he went, but was killed by a burst of fire within a few yards of his objective. Although the immediate objective of the counterattack was not achieved, it had yet a great effect on the subsequent course of the battle, for although the enemy had gained a footing on the position vital to the defence of the whole company area, this success had resulted in such furious reaction that they made no further effort to exploit their success in the immediate area. If they had done so, the eventual withdrawal of the company might well have proved impossible. Lieutenant Curtis's conduct was magnificent through this bitter battle. He was buried in the UN Memorial Cemetery, Busan, South Korea. It was not until 6th of July 1954 that an investiture took place at Buckingham Palace, where Queen Elizabeth II presented a Victoria Cross to his mother, Florence, daughter, Susan, and mother-in-law, Beatrice. Over 20 years later, at Sotheby's auction, Curtis's Victoria Cross was sold by now Mrs. Susan Griffin for £7,200 to a medal dealer, John Hayward, who outbid the representative of the DCLI Museum, who had hoped for £5,200. The medals were sold for Susan to put the money to a trust fund for then her 15-month-old son, named Philip, in honour of his grandfather. She had hoped that the regiment would have got the medals, but it wasn't to be. However, John Hayward generously agreed to resell the medals to the regiment for £6,200, thus in effect giving £1,000 towards it himself, providing other donations of £1,000 could be raised. This was quickly achieved thanks to the help of Canadian British businessmen and English China Clays of St Austell, Cornwall. Within a few days, the medals were in the DCLI Museum at Bodmin, which you can still see today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Battlezone to hear more of our war stories and historical battles.